I want to get something off my chest. I'm so fired up about this story out of Miami that I've got to. I know the debate is front and center. There's a lot of news of that, but here's the way the AP, the biased, lopsided covered AP covers this. A police officer dragged Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill out of his sports car by his arm and head and then forced him face first onto the ground. And I'm thinking, that's what you lead with? That's your takeaway? Every time we see one of these high-profile incidents involving the police, especially when it's a black American, there is never any acknowledgement, it seems, of the role that the citizen plays in a confrontation like this. Thankfully, the Miami police released it on body cam, so we know what happened. We know why the police reacted the way they did. You think they just did it on a whim? You think they dragged the guy out of his car on the way to the game because they felt like it? They didn't like him? They were a Patriots fan and they just decided to be mean to the guy? He's plowing through the street, driving like a madman. The motorcycle cops stop him in his fancy, $400,000 car or whatever he's got. And, don't take my word for it. Listen to how Tyreek Hill responded when the police officers came up to his car.
Hey, don't knock on my window like that, man.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on?
Don't knock on my window.
Why don't you have your seatbelt on?
Don't knock on my window like that, no.
Like what?
Don't knock on my window like that.
Why you have it up?
Don't knock on my window like that.
Why you have it up? I have to knock to let you know I'm here. That way you can lower it and talk to
Just
you.
get my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm finna be late, gang. Do what you gotta do.
Keep it down. Hey! Keep your window down. Hey! Keep your window down.
Don't tell me what.
Keep your window down. I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car.
Give me that.
Get out of the car.
Give me that. We'll break the window.
Get out of the car.
I'm finna get out.
Get out of the car right now. We're not playing this game. Get out.
Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out.
And then, of course, now they're taking him out of the car. They grab him, they throw him to the ground, and they put handcuffs on him and arrest him. Now, you're watching this video on Salem News Channel, or you can hear the audio. He's, first of all, ordering the officer not to knock on his window. You heard him repeatedly, don't knock on my window like that. He's sitting there behind a darkly tinted glass window in his fancy, expensive car after committing a traffic violation. And the officer is tapping on the window because he doesn't put the window down. So then he does put the window down and is telling them, do what you got to do, write the ticket, I'm going to be late. And then he puts the window back up. Now, it's a darkly tinted window. These officers don't know what he's doing behind that window. And it doesn't matter if he's black or white or green. Officers get shot in the face all the time because people have a weapon under their seat and they reach for it. And if you're hidden behind a darkly tinted window, well, that's inevitable what's going to happen. Now, here's a statement by the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, in its infinite wisdom, decided to release an official statement over the incident involving their star, Tyreek Hill. And I quote, "We are saddened by the overly aggressive and violent conduct directed towards Tyreek Hill. We are saddened by the overly aggressive and violent," so they're blaming the police. And as I posted on X this morning, this woke NFL team, the Miami Dolphins, are going to get young people killed because young people think that the cops are the bad guys in this. I had a person on my X page respond to my post. And the person commented, and this is what's infuriating to me. the person commented, I see no, this is Lee on Twitter, on X. I see no problem with the Miami Dolphins statement. Those cops were way over the top, out of line, and still have not explained why they treated him that way. I'm even more conservative than you, Mike. I support the police, but I do not support any police who think they rule and ignore the Constitution. Well, I love you, sir. You don't support the police. Because if you did support the police, you'd appreciate the split second that it takes for somebody with a gun behind a closed window, disobeying commands to put the window down, to shoot that officer in the head and take his life. And for the Miami Dolphins to fail to acknowledge the flawed behavior of Tyreek Hill, they're going to lead that insistence that the cops are wrong will lead to a lot of young people being killed. It's that simple. It's that simple. I was listening to Tara this morning, the Tara Servatius. She's the morning host on our home in South Carolina. And Tara pointed something out that, look, those of us with a platform, if you've got a show, a talk show, we're public figures. Tara said, I wouldn't dream of saying anything other than yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, to a police officer. Because Tara said, I know the body cam is rolling. And the last thing I need to do is pop off to a cop and be a jerk and argue with the police officer, and that body cam video gets leaked, and Tara is telling off the cops. And it's true. I mean, look, everybody should do what the cops say, but at the very least, if you're a public figure, like an NFL star, do the right thing. Officer tells you to put your window down, put your window down. And to anybody who says the cops overreacted or they were over the top, or to this nice guy here on my social media page, oh, the cops were way over. Why were the cops over the top? What led the police to do what they did? Because the inference is they just did it because. Just out of the clear blue. They went and stopped the guy and dragged him out of the car. That's not what happened. He was uncooperative. He was hiding behind his probably illegally tinted windows in his expensive car because he's an NFL player and he don't want to be bothered. This is unreal to watch and believe me, the people that are condemning the cops, I promise you, are people who don't like cops in the first place. They had a bad experience. There's a lot of people with a chip on their shoulder over law enforcement, and those are the only kinds of people who are going to take the Miami Dolphins' position on this, that the cops were to blame. The Miami Dolphins are protecting their multi-million dollar asset. That's all they're worried about. They don't care about the safety of their fans. They don't care about the message it sends to young people. I got a news flash for you. Do what the police tell you to do, and it won't turn out badly for you. 800-6, I'm fired up about this. Wonder if you are too. 800-655-6453. I hope you join us.
Mike Gallagher.
The lack of respect for police officers today is off the charts. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. And it fascinates me to see the instinctive way people want to blame police for everything. And at the very least, one would think you would have the maturity to realize that the lack of cooperation with police officers is at least part of the story. But no, they don't even mention what Tyreek Hill did sitting behind his tinted window. That's not even in it. So you can do whatever you want with a police officer, say whatever you want, and incidentally, he could have said what he wanted. He wanted to mouth off to the cop. They would have let him mouth off. Just put your window down so they can see your hands and they can make sure you're not reaching for a gun, rather than defiantly putting your window up when they're telling you to put the window down. But this is where we are right now. This is where we are as a country. It's depressing. Mike is in Illinois. Mike, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. How are you?
Hey, Mike. How are you today?
Good, thanks. I'm just fired up about this Tyreek Hill story.
You and me both. I'm a former police officer from Milwaukee and Joliet. I'm 50 years old, but the primary thing I always said was to even my family members is when we were kids in high school and junior high, we had police officers come into our auditorium and explain to us that the general basis is that as long as you listen to us, nothing will happen because we're here to help you.
Correct.
We're here to make sure that you're safe. We're here to make sure everyone else is safe. So just listen to us. Everything will go smooth and there'll be no problem. But
when you
we
when you resist and when you fail to comply, then things are going to go south for you.
all the time.
Every time.
All the time.
Every time. And
Every
you know,
time.
and the definition of insanity is repeating the same behavior over and over again, thinking you're going to have a different outcome. You think you're going to be able to fail to comply with a police officer and something's going to go well for you? It's never going to go well for you. So whether you're fighting a cop physically or running from a cop or putting your window up that's tinted where they can't see inside the window when they tell you to put it down, it's never going to go well for you. It's astounding to me. And then incidentally, somebody pointed out, don't forget, Mike, and one of the things he said as he was being arrested was, I've had surgery on my leg. Surgery on your leg? Didn't he score a touchdown and taunt the police by making a gesture, by being handcuffed in the end zone? Real classy, nice guy. Good role model, huh? Real peach of a guy. So knock it off with the cop bashing. I mean, look, cops make mistakes, and there are rotten cops. I'm not somebody who blindly supports the police officers, but I am tired of cops being blamed for doing what they are inevitably going to do. Marie's in, are you in Massachusetts or Maine? Hey, Marie, you there?
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Good. Where are you? Are you in Maine or Massachusetts?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Gotcha. Great to have you on the program, Marie.
Thank you so much. Love your show. I felt I had to call in. This has upset me so much, and I didn't know that the Dolphins had put out an official statement.
Yep.
That is infuriating. And, I mean, it's everything that you I totally agree with. And I don't care if you had been black, white, male, female. Long time ago, sir, I was a little wise guy in my teen years, and I've been pulled out of the car by the cops.
Wow.
I don't give a crap, and we are so sick and tired of every time there's an issue with a black person and a cop. The cops are mad. We're all racist. Total BS.
You're right. And incidentally, for the record, if anybody wants to keep track at home for your scorecard, the cops are people of color too. They're Hispanic. The officers are not white. Now that's not going to matter because you're right, Marie. Everybody's caught. Oh, race, black man. Oh, look what's going. Here's the Miami Dolphins' end of their statement. We will stand beside Tyreek and our players as they work to use their platform and this situation to make a positive impact in our community. Hey, Miami Dolphins, you know how you could make a positive impact? You know, if you want to make this a teachable moment, remind people to comply with the police. Remind people to do what they're supposed to do. Remind people that you must obey the police. They're the men and women with the gun and the badge. And you may not like what the cops are doing. Maybe you didn't agree with the ticket you're getting. Maybe you don't like their attitude. Guess what? You do what they tell you to do. Or bad things are going to happen to you. And then when bad things happen, we're going to all be surprised. This is infuriating to me when this kind of crap happens. And normal people have a normal reaction.